This is the trend review that I usually do. So the market's been going down, and there was something that came to mind. Is a lot of times like the trend will slightly change, but there's a big difference between the waves, meaning there are waves that are weak and there are waves that are strong. I'm not going to label all the waves, but I definitely want to be able to label the strong waves. The weak waves, you can have weak rallies. Like over here, these rallies are weak. That's why they have no indication of strength. But the supply is strong. It's a very, minor little label that I put. And as you can see, the supply gets stronger. Supply is still strong. And anyway, the point is like when you're when you're looking at waves, there's a lot of different ways to characterize them. All right, and you want to be able to distinguish which waves are meaningful and which waves are not. And if you think that strong waves are more meaningful than other types of waves that may or may not be, strong or weak, or there's many different ways to classify waves. You could have a wave that is looks strong but isn't, and I'll give an example of that. You see this entire move cracked right over here. This wave looks very strong, right? But it's not. They're actually selling on the up wave. Alright, so this wave looks strong, but the wave before it was strong, and that's why it has that indication, strong demand. This wave that has 11,000 plus contracts on it is not strong demand. It's actually weak. Why? Because it did an up thrust. It did not, have any follow through or breakout, and it has actually more volume, more time. So that means that it's encountering difficulty. It's encountering supply. There's something not right. If a wave has more volume, more time, you know, more of everything, and all it does is an upthrust, that's not a strong wave. But on the wave down, there's strong supply, which set up this move that initiated the whole move down. You know, so it's very important to be able to see a rally and determine whether it really is in fact a strong rally or it's not a strong rally. Here you have strong supply. Here you have strong supply, and look at none of these up waves have strong demand. They're weak up waves, which are generally corrective. So within trend, you're going to encounter a situation where you have so many different types of waves, right? You have waves that have good ease of movement. You have waves that have a lot of effort and no reward. You have a lot of that. So you have to be able to identify which one of these waves is, I guess the right word is a rally, meaning like a legit rally, versus a wave that isn't. And even then, you have to take a look and be able to judge, waves that pull back to see if they're actually weak or not, right? So it all comes down to what Wyckoff explained, that you have to quote unquote think in waves and develop the ability to judge all types of waves. Just because the waves are going higher doesn't mean that they're rallying. So the ability to judge all types of waves really is based off of multiple factors, not just making highs. These these waves here are very weak. They go up, but not drawing out a lot of volume, and the wave in the background is strong. All these white waves, all they do is they test. So it's very important to be able to detect that, and then you get a really low risk opportunity to short it, meaning you short the up wave when it's weak. Understand? In a downtrend with supply in the background. All right, now given all of that, you see supply is in control and just keeps rallying, etc., etc. The waves up are not strong; they're weak. That's why they don't have that strong indication. Anyway, it keeps going down and down, but it was very very difficult. You had one strong demand wave up here. All right, 14,000 contracts. This turned out to be preliminary demand. Okay. Now the other thing to note is there are actually a couple of things like this counter trend or reaction or whatever actually came because they quickly bought, over here 135 and it pulled back on 22. Okay, 135 pulled back 22. All right, so that created the demand without supply, which led to this, this rally. In any case, you have to be able to take the rally compared to the pullback, and you see over here, you have strong demand, but then you have a pullback, and this is not a small amount of volume. Here you have 135 and 22. Here you have 145 and 107, which means supply exists. So even if there was preliminary buying here, which there was, there's still a shakeout maneuver. And here's where the trap occurred. So it's very important to recognize, because they want to cause short covering, right? So it's a very interesting maneuver here. It goes down. It gives the impression of weakness because it has strong supply, 13,000 contracts, and it pulls back on 5,800. So this is your typical low volume pullback, or at least a less volume pullback, like less volume than the rally, and the rally is strong, right? Then it reverses, giving the reversal signal to go short. So, you could go short, but it immediately reverses right back and rallies on strong demand. So this was the bear trap. It breaks and immediately reverses. Okay, that is the bear trap. Is there any way to really, how should I say, to identify that? No, there's no way to identify that until you get stopped out. You cannot identify that because I'm not getting divergence off the rest of the group, and that's the this is a really really important point. People are under the impression that by adding conditions to their logic for signals, that they're going to be able to get uh, the best entries, right, and not fall for the bear trap or the bull trap. But this is bullshit because they actually are selling here. The CM strong hands are selling. They are selling in all, so all systems, quote unquote, they will give you a sell signal. It's not like, oh, if I take this and verify it with the, market internals, or, maybe I'll verify it against the NASDAQ, or maybe, they're not, they're diverging, or what about momentum? Maybe it'll be diverging, or, it's all these types of things. But understand that these guys, they are actually selling. All right, so none of those techniques are going to save you. None of them are going to save you. You will get a sell signal no matter, if you're looking for follow through or all of that, you will, or volume, you know, it'll all confirm, okay? Because they are selling. That's the key point. So the different mechanical signals or even your own judgment will tell you, oh yeah, they're selling, let me go short. Okay? But it's like there's a change later on from that selling to strength. Okay, where the only thing that really is gonna protect you is some type of stop, because there is no way around it. Okay, the whole idea is you're gonna lose, but you're gonna lose small, and then if eventually it's gonna work out, you're gonna make big. All right, but if you think that there's a way to avoid the trap, there isn't. What you could pick and choose something like a momentum or this or that, but you'll see that there's no way to do it, because actual selling is occurring, and a break is occurring, and follow through is there, and the volume is confirming, and the momentum is confirming, and the correlated markets are confirming, and the trend is confirming. So no matter what you do, all the systems, they're all going to say sell, and you're going to get a low volume pullback, but all of a sudden, you get this reversal bar. Why? Because the the decision to go from short to long was made here. Okay. Now there's always something people will point at. Oh, look over here. There's preliminary demand. Oh, because of that, I wouldn't have gone short. But it's all bullshit, because the low was taken out and it had fall through, etc., etc., etc. All right. So in any case, the only thing you have to learn how to accept the losses and make sure they're small. All right. And the forex traders, obviously, they're gonna have a different technique where they will hedge. So what they're gonna do is, if they sell here, they'll hedge up here, so the loss is unrealized, and then they'll work the position and eventually get to break even, or maybe even make a profit, which is quite an extraordinary thing to be able to do if you know how to hedge. But in futures, you can't do that. And even with the hedging techniques, they would be you probably need a foreign broker. So that's, if you're in futures, there's no such thing. The only thing that's gonna protect you is a small loss, and then you get into a winner. So enough of the ranting. The point is, the low volume pullback didn't work here, and instead the market rallied. And when it rallied, look at the volume. See that? 21,400 contracts bought. Bam, 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 bang. Now, there's still, I'm not happy with this type of selling. This 14,000 is very large amount of selling. But the immediate trend has just turned. Okay, now we don't know if that's going to develop into a larger intermediate trend, but the immediate trend has turned, and the supply is less than the demand. Okay, so we'll see how this works, and I like the buying. I just don't like the pullback. So we'll see if this pullback again, and whether it decreases from 144 to say 40, or or even lower. That would be awesome. that would mean that supply has severely diminished, and then demand would have an opportunity, possibly, to rally it up to I think at least this area, this resistance area, like up there somewhere. So we'll see if that's what occurs. So what? And this is a very important point, because at this point, with that kind of volume, with the higher highs, higher lows, at least for the time being, there is a turning point from weakness to strength. There's a turning point. And we also see that the false breakdown, that the breakdown was a false move, which, in my opinion, adds more credibility to the up move, since the down move failed. The down move failed, leading to a strong up move. It's not just a strong up move, there's failure in the background, which is a pretty good indication. Anyway, that's all, folks.